right, so we get the brand new banner information for the first banners of 2.6 for Venti as well as Ayato. And both banners look pretty fire before. I definitely was interested. So we're gonna go into the banner details and talk about them. And we're gonna talk about this, the characters on the banners and if you should be pulling or not pulling. So I'm gonna do it. All right, so first on the rocket docket, we have the Venti banner, which is the character banner to the other, both the Ayato banner and the Venti banner are the same. We have Xiangling, Sucrose, and Yunjin. That's a good banner. That's a good banner. All right. So Sucrose has only been, Sucrose and Xiangling were together previously on the Raiden Shogun banner on the around the 1 year anniversary. So that banner was really fire, but Sucrose has not been out since then, and Xiangling, I believe, same deal. But both characters are insanely powerful. So if you have not get them, if you're a new player to Genshin Impact and you don't know how strong they are, these two characters are core characters in Genshin Impact that actually make teams insanely strong. So if you're new, they're both really, really amazing. Constellation for Xiangling, you only really need it up to C4, I believe, or C5. I think C4 is like where she kind of tops out. C6 is kind of cool for like C6 Kazuha, for Kazuha teams and stuff like that. But like C4 is basically where Xiangling kind of tops out. Then we got Sucrose, who is really good at C0, really good at C1, and then really good at C6. So overall, you really only need C0 Sucrose. C1 is really helpful, but C1 is like the nice little like QOL thing for like energy recharge and battery and such. For Yunjin, okay? Yunjin's constellations. Constellation 1, after playing Yunjin for a while, it reduces the cooldown of your character for your elemental skill from 9 seconds to about 7.5 seconds. It changes it to like a Beidou elemental skill. It's super needed. It's very, very nice. I'm gonna get Venti off the screen, by the way. I want to put Ayato on the screen. Where's he at? And C2 and 3 are basically where Yunjin kind of tops out. So C1 through 3 is rarely where she gets really, really, really strong for boosting your team. You get extra normal attack boosting on C2, and then C3 boosts your ultimate, which of course boosts the damage that you get. And then C6, you get the attack speed bonus. So Yunjin constellations are exceptionally strong. So if you're thinking about summoning just for constellations for 4 stars in this banner, it is a very good banner for that. Specifically because Yunjin has only been out on the Shenhan banner, and that's a really good character pickup. Personally, she's one of my favorite new 4 stars to be added since basically Rosaria. So it's one of the characters I really, really like playing with. I've been playing with Yoimiya, and I definitely think she'll be good with Ayato. And I think it'll be actually really fun to play. What I did the other day was I was actually trying out Yunjin with Tartaglia. If you haven't tried it yet before, it's actually quite good. It doesn't really scale really well with the Riptides, obviously, because it's a normal attack boost, and Tartaglia scales on elemental skill damage if you're going to be Riptiding, but it will boost the normal attacks, and the normal attacks start hitting really hard. You get like 40k normal attacks at C0, which is pretty cool. So if you're using like Kazuha and Bennett with it too. So all that is really, really fun. And I definitely like Yunjin, and I love this banner. It's a great banner to summon on. So if you're wondering if you should summon on this banner, the answer is abso-freaking-lutely. It's awesome. All right, next up we have the weapon banner, which is going to be the Elegy for the end, and of course the Haran Geppaku Futsu. And this weapon I'll go over in detail as well, and we'll talk about it versus Jade Spear and Jade Cutter and all the other weapons too. So you'll get some ideas there. We have the Rust, which is great for Yoimiya, but not really good for too many other characters besides Tartaglia. Widzith, great weapon in general. Yaemiko's best in slot for 4 stars. And we got Dragon's Bane Flute and Sacrificial. So weapon banner kind of sucks on 4 stars. So if you were building pity already and you're pretty close to the max pity and you're set up for that, that's basically where I am. So I'm set up on this banner, so I'm pretty happy about it. All right, for Elegy for the end, I'll talk about this first because I will go into Haran Geppaku a little bit more detailed. But the Elegy for the end is really good for Sarah. If you just recently got Sarah to C6 and you don't have a bow for her and you end up getting Elegy for the end, it's really good on Sarah. And if you're really looking for another character, Diona's good with this bow. And you could potentially use this on Goru for some way of using the character, because you can create elemental reactions with the bow, and like crystallized reactions are considered reactions with this, and you can then use that to give the attack percentage bonus to like a character like Ito, which would be beneficial, but the EM bonus is completely useless. So it can work for Goru, it just Favonius is better. It's also the best in slot weapon for Venti for supporting. If you're wondering which one does more damage, the Stringless and the Moyon's Moon will do more damage, whereas the Elegy for the end will do more supporting, which will boost your team more. So if you're looking for a better supporting weapon for your freeze teams and other teams for Venti, then that's the weapon for him. All right, now we're gonna go into the Haran Geppaku Futsu, and this weapon is a very interesting weapon, and I gotta go over this in a little bit of detail. All right, so the details of this weapon came out last night, and if you can't see that right here, let me try to. So this weapon is a crit chance weapon with 608 base attack, which means it's going to have as much crit chance or crit value as the Staff of Homa. It's going to be a very, very good value weapon for crit, but it will of course have less crit chance than the Jade Cutter. It was 11% less crit. The damage on the weapon is going to be a 12% all elemental damage bonus, which include elemental burst, elemental scales, all of that. And it will actually boost for every single elemental typing. So whether it be hydro damage, pyro damage, whatever, that's all types of elemental damage bonus. So that by itself makes it somewhat equivalent as far as the passive goes to the Jade Cutter. Just the 12% elemental bonus is pretty similar to what you would get versus the Jade Cutter passive for the attack that you're getting. And the overall attack damage increases, I think, is like somewhere about 18% or so for the Jade Cutter if you're just going for a normal attack build. And this is like 12% elemental bonus versus 18% attack. Most people just choose the elemental bonus at that juncture anyways, because you don't get as much damage off the attack. So that part already is equivalent. The difference, of course, is this is a higher base attack weapon and, of course, lower crit chance, so it's going to be a little bit worse in that end. So then the other part of the passive is going to be, is this part of the passive make it worth it versus the Jade Cutter? So when other party members use elemental skills, the character equipping this weapon will get a wave spike back, meaning that, let's just say you switch off to a Bennett, he drops an elemental skill and an elemental burst, you swap over to a Zhangling, she drops an elemental skill and elemental burst, you'll have 2 wave spike stacks on the character using this, which would be Ayato. And it maxes out at 2 stacks, which can trigger every 0.3 seconds, so you just cannot like spam cast it. I'm guessing you can use this with a character like you can actually use this with Yae Miko and there's no problems with it. Just as an idea, that's where you're gonna be going. When the character equipping this weapon uses an elemental skill, all stacks of wave spike will be consumed, and getting it a rippling upheaval, each stack is going to give you a wave spike consume 20% normal attack bonus, meaning you're going to get a total of 40% normal attack damage bonus for the Haran Geppaku Futsu. And that means you're going to get basically a total of 52% damage that from this weapon. So if you're looking for a normal attacking weapon, yes, this weapon will most likely be stronger than the Jade Cutter for specifically any normal attacking character that will be using it. For other characters in Genshin, though, this particular weapon will not be better than the Jade Cutter or the Mist Splitter, because if you look at the Mist Splitter, it's going to be basically a 22 crit rate value versus 33 C damage with 674 base attack versus 608. And that weapon also has the 12 elemental damage bonus, but in addition to that, also has an elemental damage bonus that is based off proc, which will be actually much greater than this. So the weapons, between the 2 weapons, the Mist Splitter will still probably be a better universal weapon, but you're probably not going to get all the stacks on the Mist Splitter in general to make that work for a lot of different characters. So for a normal attacking character that's like Ayato, this weapon will probably be better than the Mist Splitter, but not by leaps and bounds. If you have a Mist Splitter or a Jade Cutter, my thought process is that the Jade Cutter and the Mist Splitter will both be almost on par with this weapon. When I did some math on this weapon previously, I did notice that the Jade Cutter was a little bit worse when using the new set, and when you're using the new set, the Mist Splitter and this weapon were pretty similar as far as the overall damage that you can really get for damage per second. It really just depends on if you're using a Bennett buff or not using a Bennett buff in order to maximize the damage. So this weapon is a good weapon. It is a very good universal weapon because it has crit chance as well as elemental damage, but is mainly focused, of course, getting that normal attack damage. So again, Ayato will be coming out very, very soon. So if you wanted to get the Mist Splitter weapon, that will of course work on Ayato, and you could potentially use that instead of using the Haran Geppaku, and it is a more universal weapon and not so focused on normal attack. So overall for this weapon, I'd say this weapon is kind of a skip unless you really want to have the signature basis for Ayato. It might be better for him in certain situations, but it's unclear to say this weapon will be better for Ayato long term than versus, as well as having other weapon characters that will be able to use it versus the Mist Splitter. Personally, on my Asia server account, I already have the Mist Splitter. I have an R5 Black Sword, so I really don't see the value of this weapon in particular, because I think that if I wanted to go for a weapon that was just like this, I would be better off just using an R5 Black Sword, because I give a very similar value of overall damage for normal attack, or using a Mist Splitter. And if you're a player using like the Heart Adept set, you could possibly use the Jade Cutter and get a really, really good damage set. So again, this weapon is kind of a skip. The character banner, however, though, if you were going to be summoning for Ayato or Venti, if you wanted either of the characters, personally, I think that Ayato is kind of a skip character. I mean, Venti is kind of a skip character this moment, because Venti as a character is still a good character, very valuable for a lot of people who have him, but Kazuha is really the better version of this character that has come out will be coming out sometime within the next month or 2 months. And if you wanted to then, of course, use a Kazuha, you will very much enjoy him much more so than Venti, unless you're doing speedrun stuff, which Venti definitely is better than Kazuha. And by speedrun stuff, I mean like getting domains done about 5 seconds faster with good energy recharge rotations. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. Oh, and as far as the patch notes go, just letting you guys know that the next couple of abysses are going to be reliant on normal attacks. So if you're a player that has Yoimiya, it's going to be very good for that. Floor 11, of course, will have a 75% animo damage bonus boosting for Zhao. So Zhao mains are going to be very, very happy for floor 11, just showing out the mad lead damage. And pretty much all the other buffs that are happening are going to be normal attack based. So just know that for the future updates, that's what's going to be for the next 6 weeks or so. Also going to be some changes to some enemies. The Golden Wolf Lord, Storm Terror, Ruin Serpent in 2.6, and the Business of Bishop Hard. And it's going to change the enemy homing functions for 15 characters and 4 large types enemies. So some of the homing functions are going to be changed for these bosses. So whenever they try to hit you with homing missiles, those are going to have better logic. So just watch out for that. There's also going to be a major change to Spiral Abyss, which is going to have Gladiators and Wanderer's Troop artifacts that no longer be the drop that you're going to get in Spiral Abyss, and you're going to get Vermilion Hereafter and Echoes of an Offering, which are going to be the brand new artifact sets that we are getting right now. So those 2 artifact sets are going to be the new artifacts that we get out of Spiral Abyss. But that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about the changes to the Spiral Abyss, the new banners that are coming out right now, what you guys are going to be doing. Are you summoning? Are you not summoning? Let me know in the comment section down below. You have a wonderful rest of your day.